Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from Sort of Interesting, and if you're not familiar with my narrowboat videos, then there I am pushing Tilly, my 30-foot Springer narrowboat, home away from the side, and I suppose as I hop on board here, it's time for us to go boating. Now I thought I would change the style of video for just a general bit of variety, and this video, instead of being made up of clips of different boat trips or clips from a single boat trip, this is an uninterrupted video of the first 10 minutes of over 50 minutes of footage that I captured just with a tripod and a camera, filming continuously from, well, as you've just seen, the very moment that I pushed off from the edge. And you can see here that we are going extremely slowly around this holiday boat that was moored in front of me. For anybody who's interested, this is setting off from by the Poacher's Pocket on the Llangollen Canal, so that's one to Google if you're interested in seeing the general area. And I thought, why not just have a nice slow 10 minutes where I've got endless time to just witter at you about nothing in particular. Obviously the tendency is going to be to lean towards boat chat, but I thought it's nice to just generally give you something nice to look at, and if you want to listen to the words instead of just mute and watch the video in the background, then, well, feel free. So, as you can see, this is a pretty overcast day. It had a little bit of drizzle here and there, but not too bad. And, well, as you can see, we are still going incredibly slowly here as there's a few boats moored up around the corner. So we pass through the turning point here. That tree stump cut off to the side there. And I've seen holiday boats hit that at absolute full pelt, and it's the most violent thing I've seen of a boat stopping absolutely dead. And there was a great moment where there was a lad sat in the bow of one holiday boat, saw the danger, starts shouting wildly to his dad who's way back on the tiller, "There's a tree, there's a tree!" The dad, obviously over the noise of the engine, hasn't got a clue what the lad's saying, and then smack. The lad, I think because he knew that it was coming, seemed far more shaken up by it. And as you can see here, we're passing a couple more boats along the side. And I'm not sure why I seem to be going so extremely slowly. Even for me, this seems like very, very slow travelling. So, like I say, this is just general chat. And I haven't got a particular theme or anything I want to say in general. So, just a little bit of housekeeping here. Some of you may know that the YouTube comment system has changed to include all this Google Plus stuff, and there's quite a few people who now can post comments on my videos, and yeah, everybody can see the comments. It comes up just as if everything's normal, but they must have some sort of privacy settings changed or different to other people on Google Plus, which means that I can see your comment, you can ask me a question directly in the comments, but there's no possible way and no option for me to actually reply to you directly. So if you're one of these people and you're noticing that either myself or other people aren't replying to any of your comments anymore, then please don't think that I'm being incredibly rude, because I've literally been trying to reach out to people and contact them because, well, I've got all these questions starting to stack up, and then some people not able to actually get a direct response from me, which is very annoying. But ultimately, I suppose I've got to say thank you all as usual, though, for all the comments that I get and the shares and the likes and general just people watching these videos at all. I've been amazed to see that we're now on the way to 60,000 views a month, which, if I can hit that point, will once again be an unbelievable and previously unimaginable landmark. So thank you all as usual for that. I am thinking as well of fetching back Sort of Interesting as a website. I've been playing with a few ideas. I did have over 100 posts on the old Sort of Interesting before I had the narrowboat, and they were just all about, well, sort of interesting things, I suppose. Ultimately, though, when I bought Tilly, I decided to stop the website and go video only because it was just far easier and far less hassle to try and deal with when I didn't have proper internet connections and general things like that, which now I've got an iPad with 3G and an iPhone, then obviously my internet access has improved a great deal over the past few months, as we're still amazingly at this point, going so slowly, about maybe 1 minute's walk away from where we started off this boat trip. Just thought I better bring it back to the narrowboat video for a second. And what I'm considering doing is starting Sort of Interesting again from scratch. Just let the previous 100 posts, or however many there were, disappear into the ether, and start Sort of Interesting as a new, very specific, about life on a boat, about my writing, about astronomy, biking, walking, and I suppose almost, I don't want to say this as if the other stuff that I wasn't doing was childish, and that I still don't do a lot of that stuff, like mountain boarding, off the top of my head, let's think of some things, model rockets and things like that. And, well, obviously fireworks I'm a big fan of as well, if you may have seen some of my older videos. But I thought maybe it's almost as if it's grown up, as if I'm making the website to suit my current lifestyle, which is something that was worrying me previously, as I thought if I fetched Sort of Interesting back, I'd have to start trying to do 3 posts a week like I used to, whereas now I've got a lot more focus on the things that I really do enjoy in life, which are all fundamentally based around the boat as the headquarters, I suppose, rather than the home. It's the headquarters of the rest of my life as well, where, like I've said endlessly in previous videos, I love astronomy, I love walking, I love biking, and just generally being outdoors. And as you can see here, even by Chirk and Western Rin, which is just up the road, this is still an incredibly rural spot. And, well, at the end of this trip, I do end up moored up in the absolute middle of nowhere at St Martin's, just by the water point. And, oh, I just say as well, this interrupting myself again, sorry, that if you're seeing any various unusual, like, jerks in my driving, it's because it's autumn and all the leaves gather on the propeller, which then start to slow you down and really tax in the engine, whereas then you need to quickly put it into reverse so that the propeller spins the leaves in the opposite direction, so they all fly off the propeller, put it back into forward gear, and then you get your speed back, and for another few minutes at least before the leaves soon clog up again, you've got sensible normal speed to travel at. But going back to Tilly as the home and headquarters of Dan Brown, it really boils down to my love of astronomy is obviously then bolstered by the fact that we've got a telescope on board, and then instead of having to cart it for a couple of miles outside of a town like I used to have to, I can literally step in a lot of places, one step off the boat onto the towpath, and I'm already in a perfect dark sky area with all of the sort of perfect, quiet, peaceful astronomy conditions that you could ask for. The same with walking and biking. If I wanted to, and quite often over the summer, I literally every week have a different base that I can start my walks or start my bike rides from, with a different stretch of canal as scenery, a different set of country lanes, a different set of public footpaths going off into the middle of nowhere. And I have in the past quite literally moored up about, I would say, 10 to 15 steps away from public footpaths off the towpath, that in the past I would have to walk for over an hour from my home to get to, and that's even the nearest places on the canal. There's places that I have in the past had to literally stop at a friend's house the night before so that it knocks a few miles off my trip to then do a circular route, for example, down the canal itself to Llangollen, and then up over the hills through the back of Glen Ceiriog and Chirk and all these wonderful out-of-the-way remote places, although not necessarily Chirk, that's not particularly out of the way or remote. And I suppose it's that fundamental, if I want to, and I have done, there's a local town called Wrexham where I've walked from the boat when it's been moored up at a certain stretch of canal all the way down the roads and then down the backcountry lanes through the Erdig estate. Once again, that's one to Google, and it's maybe about a 7 or 8 mile walk, maybe even 9 or 10 actually, but being able to moor up a lot closer than the 16 miles it is from where I used to live, I'm able to walk into Wrexham, have a wander around and look there, maybe something to eat, maybe a hard-earned McDonald's, and then hop on a bus and literally get dropped off right back, well, where I started out from, on board good old Tilly. So, as this part of the trip is about to come to an end, I'll say stay tuned for more on this narrowboat trip with more general life chat and commentaries. And obviously check out my other videos for tons, I mean well over 100 narrowboat videos now. Also, please check out my book, The Narrowboat Lad, on the Kindle. It's available from Amazon for £1.53 and all about my life on board Tilly for the first year. And until then, I suppose, subscribe, like the Facebook page, feel free to add me personally on Facebook and Twitter, and really, just have a fantastic day. Farewell.